Chapter 23. Interview. Tolu. The first time Zulu smoked weed was my first time too. It was during one of our family visits to my father's village in Nigeria. We spent a week in Lagos, then a week at the palace in West Yoruba land, and now we were in the southeast Igbo land. After residing for days in a small palace, being in our parents' house in the village was a relief, especially for me, the oldest son. So many expectations and duties. It was aggravating. I was about 14, and Zulu was 19. Everyone else was inside for a meeting with the extended family. I was outside, sitting on the front steps. Zulu was behind me in her wheelchair. I had no idea who she got the joint from. Maybe our cousin Osundu. He would have had access to that kind of thing. Osundu was the shadiest guy we knew. At the age of 25, he would have been in college if it weren't perpetually closed due to strikes. He drove a caboo to make ends meet and lived in Lagos in one of the shittiest apartments I'd ever seen. He was more than likely to have some kind of side hustle going. Inside, all our relatives who had descended on the village for their family gathering were shouting and laughing. It was hot in here, and I'd come out for a breath of air. Zulu was already out there. She was in her first year of college. I remember she'd come home different. She'd taken out her braid extensions and twisted her hair. My father hated it, but both my parents had seen this hairstyle before, so they weren't all that surprised. It wasn't her look that threw me off, though. It was how she seemed so much more herself. She was reading all these books by authors she discovered in her classes. She'd even written some of their names on her chair. Zora Neale Hurston, Jamaica Kincaid, Ijoma Ulo, Zadie Smith, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and she was always talking politics. She seemed so smart to my 14-year-old self. I kind of avoided her. So when I saw her sitting there, I nearly went back inside. She grabbed my leg. "Where are you going, Tolu? Come sit with me," she said. "That meeting's going to last forever, so might as well get some fresh air now." When she brought out the joint, my eyes must have gotten huge, because she burst out laughing. "You like you've seen a ghost. Are you going to smoke that?" "Of course," she said, rolling her eyes. "Right here? Why not?" I looked at her like she was crazy. "Mom and Dad." No one's coming out of there for a while. Doesn't it smell?" She shrugged and brought out a lighter. She lit the tip and then took a hit. She looked relaxed, and I remember it smelled kind of pleasant too. Behind us, I could hear our grandfather saying, "Igbo, Kwenu," and everyone responding, "Yeah." The meeting was starting. "Want some?" she asked, holding it out to me. 10 minutes later, we stepped into a room full of relatives, cousins from 7 years old to 45. Our father's parents, aunts, uncles, 5 of our father's sisters, 3 of his brothers, their wives, husbands and wives, our siblings, and our parents. Grandfather was watching the room as his brother offered a platter with broken cola nuts, peanut sauce, and alligator pepper to people. We sat in the back, and as we did, I had to stifle the most powerful urge to laugh I've ever felt. Everything was funny. The musty, hot smell of the large meeting room, how serious everyone looked, Grandfather's gravely voice, the way his brother carefully held a tray before all the elders first, the overworked air conditioner in the front whose hard effort was not paying off, even the enormous spider sitting in the dark corner near the ceiling on the far side of the room. The audacity of that spider. It was horrifying, and no one was paying attention to it. My stomach cramped from the stifled laughter. Oh, the pain. When I glanced at Zulu, the sight of her made it worse. She was in the same state, tears in her eyes. Zulu and I sat beside our grand auntie Nana and our grand auntie Grace, both Bible-thumping members of the local chapter of Mountain of Fire. They looked at us and frowned. We must have smelled so strongly of all the weed we just smoked. The room felt like it was the size of a cathedral. Things had also seemed to have slowed down so much that I could see between the cracks. I let out a soft giggle. It is good to see you all this Christmas," my grandfather announced in the front. "My son's secret has traveled the farthest with his family to be here. All the way from the United States. Let us welcome them." Everyone clapped and smiled. It felt like there was a moment when everyone in the room turned and stared at me. and I grinned, despite being totally creeped out. I heard Zulu snicker beside me, and that set me off again. I was so strained holding back laughter. I was sure my nose would start bleeding from the pressure. Zulu leaned toward me and whispered in my ear. It's like, she paused, her shoulders shaking. It's like someone is inhabiting my brain, like a little person, and that person is talking to me and threatening to betray that I'm high. I got up and mechanically walked to the door, making sure I did not meet anyone's eyes. When I got outside, I let out the largest burst of laughter I've ever had in my life. Large but not loud, because the meeting was right behind me. Finally, I didn't have to control my face or breathing. I snickered and giggled for at least 10 minutes. Everything around me was so funny. The disheveled house across the compound, the owl hooting from nearby that probably made everyone cross themselves, the pencil-thin palm trees gently swaying in the breeze, the very fact that I was high in this southeastern Nigerian village. I eventually went back in and sat in my spot beside Zulu. We both mellowed out. And this was around the time that our father started yelling at our cousin, Osundu, for stealing a generator. Osundu was forced to stand up and ask forgiveness. What the fuck, Zulu muttered. How do you steal a whole generator, I whispered. From your uncle. From your own uncle. We both giggled, grabbing each other's hands and squeezing. Osundu, our grandfather was saying, what do you have to say for yourself? Osundu stood in front of everyone, tall and lanky, his dirty jeans and red t-shirt, a smirk on his face. I am innocent, he said. 5 people saw you do it, grandfather shouted forcefully. 5 of our cousins assented. One of them even said, stop lying, idiot. Confess, you did it in broad daylight with 2 of your friends. Aha, another added. Just make payment if you have sold it, but do not stand here before your family and lie, oh. Osundu sucked in his cheeks, as if someone had stuck a lemon in his mouth. Che! God will punish you, oh, another cousin said. I saw it all in slow motion. Grandfather leaped to his feet and smacked Osundu upside the head hard. Confess. Osundu held the side of his head. Fine, I confess. My head. I sold it and I cannot pay anything. Everyone began speaking all at once. You will. Idiot, fool. You don't know how to work, only steal. You are lucky we don't do jungle justice on you here. Lots of tooth kissing, too. Osundu looked around, taken aback. Somehow he appeared utterly insulted, even though he totally committed the crime. Did he really think he'd get away with it? And why come to a family meeting knowing what he'd done? So weird, he stormed out. As he passed me, I noticed tears streaming down his face. I don't remember much of the meeting after that. However, later, Zulu and I went for a walk in the evening. Well, I pushed her. Never before had everything seemed this loud and alive. We stopped on the dirt road outside the house. You have your phone? She asked. Yeah, cool. Turn on the flashlight. I did, and she suddenly started wheeling her chair. Come on. She went to the back of the old house, beside a new one our parents had built. This was the house that my father had grown up in. Okay, push me. I can't wheel here easily, she said when we got to the back. And hold up the light. Who knows what snakes are here? I fumbled with my phone as I pushed her in the weedy backyard. There were old lopsided wooden statues that I preferred to avoid. All the aunties told me never to come here because of them, though they didn't explain why. This is our great-grandfather's shrine, Zulu said. It's called an obi, which means home or heart in Igbo. How do you know all this? None of the kids speak Igbo. No matter how hard we try and our father tried to teach us, we just couldn't pick it up. I know more Yoruba than Igbo. Our mother's relatives were more open to teaching us. Our father and his relatives always just expected to pick up on it like geniuses. I asked, Zulu said. Who? Not the aunties, I assume. Grandfather, she said. He says he still comes here to talk to his father and mother. Oh, I whispered. I shined a light on one of the ancestors. That's what it was, an ancestor. It was clearly female and made of thick wood that seemed like it would last forever. We were quiet for a while. Zulu reached for and touched it. I was afraid to. I had a nagging feeling that these could get up and walk around whenever they chose, and I didn't want a personal visit from one that night. She looked up at the sky. You know Orion? No, I said. She pointed out so many of the stars that night, even the Milky Way, which I'd never seen before. I didn't realize she knew or cared about all that. It was cool. She didn't talk much to me when I was little, and I was always kind of fascinated by her, the way she pulled through after losing her ability to walk. I was 7 when it happened, and it really terrified me. I was scared she was going to die, and then I thought she was going to kill herself. But because how could one live without walking, having been able to perform? But instead, I saw her become... To me, my sister was like a spirit, a sort of superhero. That evening was the first time I really began to see Zulu as a human being, and she was awesome. The weed she shared with me didn't wear off quickly at all. It gave me strange dreams, though who knows, the humid heat may have also caused them. In the first dream, I was back outside at the Obi. The ancestors stayed in place, but my father was there, and he was a tall masquerade. It was daytime, and he was pruning a vine that was growing on one of the ancestors. Then Zulu came through the yard, and she wasn't in her chair. She was walking, not on regular legs, on robot legs. She was a robot herself, a tall humanoid thing with a face full of light. She strutted past me, then laughing and more confident and comfortable than I'd ever seen her. I still remember this dream. It's one of the dreams you never forget, not because it's so profound, but because of the way it makes you feel. Dad was so happy, and Zulu was so Zulu. Maybe I should have, but I never told Zulu about that dream. I always thought there'd be time to tell her one day, at the right moment, when I was ready. Or maybe, if I'm being totally honest, it's something I wanted to keep to myself. I'm a lawyer, not an artist. I may have made it up in my subconscious, but it might be the most creative thing I've ever conceived. But you should know, Zulu's no robot. She's all human, and she felt things deeply. Everything that happened, she felt it all.